Okay, g'day everybody. So we're going to have a sneak peek on Triana. They're loading, so we'll be treading around things and bits and pieces, but we'll walk you through it. They've loaded eggs, onions, oranges, chocolate, bread, all sorts of rubbish. So I'm going to sneak in behind them and try not to get in their way. It's the last day. Start day's tomorrow. So anyway, here we go. Here we go. So they're just loading. I've got another one in my pocket. Hey. Sebastian, you happy with the preparations?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, all good. Yeah.
Nous avons beaucoup travaillé la première semaine parce qu'on avait un problème sur le safran. Et nous sommes allés à Piriapolis et réparer ça en une semaine, c'était fait. Et puis depuis, tout va bien, le bateau est prêt.
Fantastic. Okay, I'm going to sneak on now while we can get on, and then I'll climb off the other way. Merci beaucoup. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. I'm going to keep out of your way. Voila. Thank you. So what we got here is some of the supplies for the next 5 to 6 weeks, I suppose. All sorts of things. Got to be all packed away, but we'll get to sneak down and have a look as well. This is a Swan 53. Interestingly enough, there's a story about this that Jean could have actually got a bigger boat if he wanted to, but there's always this theory, and it was done when it was in the IOR days, that a boat around about 53 feet can perform to its rating quite well in heavy weather, calm weather, all that sort of stuff. So he was advised by a few people, said, no, don't get a big boat, this is the best for rating, and it might be working out, besides the fact they've got very good sailors, of course. So yeah, strong boat. It was purchased as a pretty good standard Swan 53. They put the mandatory dog box on board, and I'll show you that in a minute. Something that all Swan owners just sort of think, you're kidding me. But I've got to tell you, this one on Triana is the best that I've ever seen. It's just perfect, and we'll get in there and have a look. You can sleep in there, you can hide from the weather. So 2 life rafts there. So it was a standard Swan 53, as I say. This is Frere's design, if I remember correctly, when they got away from Sparks and Stevens. All pretty standard stuff, you know, hydraulic boom vang, big solid mast sections that they use. This was a new Sparcraft mast. It's quite a heavy boat, that's why the sections are so big. You know, this boat's probably 19 tonne or something like that. It's a triple spreader rig, nothing super technical about that. You know, you look at the gooseneck and stuff, it's all just traditional Sparcraft things again, but done for maximum endurance rather than lightweight, you know, righting moments and things like that. We don't allow carbon fibre rigs in the boats, so straightforward. It's rod rigging, you know, pretty serious dimensions there. Rod rigging, all standard original Swan fittings, you know, chain plates and bits and pieces. So had a teak deck, and in fact I asked someone the other day, it's this teak deck's healthy, but it's not looking like normal, you know, the you know, Sikaflex in between is non-existent, and I think they actually sanded it down a little bit to save weight. Anyway, that's part of the course. I'll just dodge the flags. They've modified the foredeck hatch, which is kind of interesting in its own right, because it's very hard to bring these big sails out through a little hatch like that, so they don't do it. It all comes out through the companionway and dragged up on deck. They don't have any reefing gears at all, no furling gears. It's just pure 1x19 diform on the inner forestay and rod on the outer forestay. Quite massive for a racing boat, massive anchor rollers, because that's part of what the deal was with standard Nordic Swan. Fantastic for cruising. You know, that's as good as it comes for any world-class cruising boat. Little things that you see on this boat, it's prepared really well. I mean, everything's got sticker on it and so on, or silicone, to stave things from chafing, you know, blocks everywhere. There's very much turned into a anti-chafe racing boat, and that's possibly due to Sebastian. Sebastian's history, I forget how many times he's gone around Cape Horn, about 7 times or something, 7, 8 times, sailing in all sorts of high-tech race boats. If you're thinking of doing the Ocean Globe race and you want to get a consultant, you couldn't go any better than Sebastian, and we were just talking about it previously. So that's one of the things that he'll be offering services to help owners who really want to have a crack at winning the race, more or less. So yeah, very experienced, great guy, huge amount of confidence. You just watch him strut around the boat, and I mean, everything he does is just like a natural, hard to describe. Anyway, great guy. So all the usual Goyo hatches on deck, plenty of, not as much ventilation as some of the other Swans. There's one cow ventilator there. We spoke about that on the other boats. We need ventilation for stop the mould growth inside the boat and so on. Anyway, we've got 2 spinnaker poles and 2 jockey poles on either side, but those jockey poles can be used for various things on the boat when you're running downwind in the Southern Ocean. Anyway, yeah, that's about it. They used a life raft in the first leg of the race. When they had a medevac, they had to launch the raft and transfer the case towards the helicopter. And here's this beautiful dog box, which is absolutely fantastic. There's not a lot I can tell you. This is a standard Swan, you know, for all the fittings and so on. The Swan tow rail, that's always interesting. Some people are blown away, but this is so solid, you know, it's not like your normal tow rail. And on the Swan 57, it's even bigger. So they're all numbered, you know, you can see they've got numbers there like 40, so if you can, I think we've got that one, yeah. If you're putting blocks in the tow rail, which is what it's designed for, you know exactly what the numbers are, where it should be placed in certain conditions. So a big steering wheel recessed into the cockpit sole, and all the hydraulic controls for the backstay. There's a hydraulic backstay adjuster there as well, on a rod backstay, are all there looking good. Big compass guard and so on. And pretty serious blocks. This is all massive stuff, very expensive stuff, Antel. Well, I shouldn't say over expensive, but anything that size for sailing is obviously expensive. They've got a little targa up the back here with the Starlink on it. Jean has a special dispensation working with M6 and the radio station, so they use that regularly. They've got something like 6 million followers or something for their weekly reports off the boat, so it's quite substantial. There's a big mishmash of bits. There's a process, just get it all on board, get it out of the sun and get it down below, so you can see it's quite fun. We will get to crawl in there in a minute. This is, for those that don't know, this is their HF radio antenna. There's standoffs there to get it away from the actual metal backstay. If you have the aerial too close to the backstay, you lose a lot of transmission efficiency. And they've got a big insulator up there. You can see that big thing, big knuckle there. That's to isolate the section of the rod as an aerial. So that's all pretty cool. We're going to try and get through this lot now. Pretty big boat, you know, it's interesting, 53 feet. Explorer's 57 feet, but this is a very different style of boat. A bit more performance orientated, you know, proportionately bigger beam, all those sorts of things. So that's kind of interesting. They're quite a big boat. When we go down below, I mean, it's going to be a complete nightmare, but I'll try and get down there and stay out of the way and we'll explain it. So in this cuddy cabin, you can see they've got a curtain they can drop down to completely seal it up. There's 2 bunks either side, port and starboard bunk there, which is great for the Southern Ocean, and even now in the tropics, it'll be a case of when it's really hot, not much wind, that'll be a cool place to be. So it's very versatile. And the main thing is for rotating crew, off-watch crew, you could literally have them sitting under there, and you've got one person on the helm, so it's not too bad. I'm going to try and stay down there now while they're not doing anything here, and you can see I'm sitting in here now. There's all their water bottles and so on. There, it's fantastic, perfect headroom height. You've got a bunk there, effectively. I think you can see that, little bags. This is really cool. You know, sitting here, I can just imagine this. This is the best one that I've actually seen. So very substantial, but very well done, and quite a credit to the effort to get that done. Okay, so this is actually looking pretty organised in a lot of ways, because I'll tell you a story in a minute. So that saloon seat there is now a sea berth. You can see the lee boards there, and this is the engine box down the front here. I think, no, sorry, that's actually where the table used to be, and the tabletop seats there taken out, because this is actually a storage place. So all of the weight of the boat, everything that you'll see packed up forward, comes back here, and they have a massive mound all in here of all the gear, sails, you know, their own personal kit and so on, because keeping the weight central is the best thing for performance. You get less hobby horsing in the boat, and it's strange when you see the photos coming back and just see this whole room full of all the gear and the ends completely empty. But that's how you sail fast, and that's why they're sailing very well to their rating, which is a big part of why they're here. They're not here to, well, they're here to have fun, do the adventure, but they're also here to seriously try win the race, and that's what's happening right now. They're first on IRC over the 3 legs so far. Stainless steel sink, bench tops, storage there in behind. We're on the port side of the boat at the moment. Big fridge and freezers. I'm not sure whether they're going to fill them up. They probably are, so I won't even open it. And a 3-burner stainless steel stove, all the usual bits to keep it going at sea. And this would have been quite a tidy, nice cruising swan. So the previous owner is probably looking at this cringing, thinking, oh, where's my beautiful interior and all that sort of stuff. So quite cool. And then in the aft cabin, there's usually a beautiful island double bed there, and that's now been turned into 2 singles. There's a lee board in the middle, or a bunk board in the middle, that's separated into 2. They built these boxes here to keep everything in place when it's bouncing and moving in the mattress and so on. So for 2 people in here, there's plenty of space. There's actually quite a lot of space. Some of the other boats will put 4 people in here. In fact, on Sterner, they've got 4 bunks in here, and they have a companionway which goes out. It's a little bit slightly different layout for a Swan 53, but nonetheless, that's it. Plenty of room here. In fact, I'm surprised the boat seems relatively empty, and part of that will be their policy of not allowing too much stuff on the boat to bog it down. You know, it's all just absolute necessities only, and that's it. So this is the starboard starboard head, and yes, the toilet's still in here, so all pretty good. I think that's as simple as it gets here. This could be turned back into a nice cruising boat later on. It's still the same boat, some of the panels are out, and it's being used for a different purpose right now. So now looking back down on the galley, still got the usual teak floor, but they all have to be bolted down. So in the event of a rollover, they don't go flying and lose the boards around the place and hit someone in the head and all that sort of stuff. So pretty straightforward. Then over here on the starboard side, it's blanked off, but you've got electrical services in here, and you know, yeah, mainly electricals and bits, engineering stuff. Lots of lights, but lots of wires and everything in there. Electrical system, this is standard Swan stuff, and all pretty basic when it comes to the refit to the race. It's just raw plywood, not even varnished or anything. There's the HF radio down there, it's an Icon HF. You've got the chart plotter, AIS. They've blanked off some stuff, that'll be probably the AIS. They've blanked it off because a lot of honour system based on not using some of the electronics, and they've got the mandatory barometer there, barograph rather, some of the electronics, helmet, everyone's got helmets for going up the mast, and a barometer in there as well, chart table, pretty simple, and nothing really new about that. This is just a typical Swan layout. Normally there'd be a recessed TV in here, but that's got their safety plan, electrical plan, where things are stored into lockers. There's the sextant case there, and that's a locker full of eggs. Locker full of eggs. So all very good. So and there's a pile of wet weather gear just getting out so they can get to the lockers, so they can actually store all the food. And you can see the strap points here. This is what I'm saying, you know, they'll strap everything in here and keep the weight central. Headliners are down on some of this stuff. Keep an eye on what's happening and where they're putting things, but it can all be replaced. So all kind of cool. And up forward you've got a double cabin there on the port side, upper and lower berth, which is getting turned into a storeroom at the moment. Lots of stuff going in there, lots of bits. How you doing? You on track?
Good.
Very busy?
A bit busy, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks for letting us have a quick squiz. So, so yeah, up in the folks where you can see the wet weather gear hanging up there. So that's pretty normal. And then there's all storage and a head compartment as well. So pretty much standard Swan 53. If you get onto sail, oh jeepers now, this what's it called? Sailboat data, sailboatdata.com. You can just call up a Swan 53 and you'll see the various types of layouts for that. So the 53 is absolutely going to be a hot boat for future reference for the OGR. You know, it's going to rate really well. And these guys, of course, it's not just the rating, but the sailors on board are absolutely into it big time. Trimming all the time, led by Sebastian and Jean, the owner, Chief very good story. So that's about it. I'm not worried about going right up the folks on to see what goes on. We'll squeak out. At some stage it's got air conditioning in here and heaters, but I think that would have been dumped to save weight. And yeah, that's about it. So I'm going to squeak out of here now, get out of their way. Thanks, guys.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
What was that for? Is it live?
This is, yeah, sorry. So how are you feeling? You're getting, hang on, get me this. You ready to go, you think?
Whoa,
You ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
Yeah? And how do you see this leg? Tactical or just hot, windy, wet, dried?
I think both of them, technical and windy, hot, very, very hot. I think.
It could be one of the hardest legs, eh?
Oh, well, yeah, it might be very long.
Yeah.
Compared to the others because upwind and
Yeah.
high pressure on our waves.
Yeah.
On our way, so that can be hard.
And potentially a late winter storm.
Oh, maybe.
And
Yeah,
Biscay.
we'll see. Yeah, very different from the Southern Sea for sure.
Yeah.
It's gonna be good to sail with warm weather.
Yeah.
Less tiring, less psychologically tiring.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be tough.
So you've got 8 on board? 8 for this
Oh yeah,
leg?
we're 8 for this
Yeah.
leg, so new sailing settings.
Yeah.
And,
So you're hot bunking?
yep.
Yeah,
Only the captain Jean has his own
Yeah.
bank, but
Yeah.
we're all hot
Rotating.
Yep,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. Okay. So you must be pretty happy with the boat then?
Oh yeah, it's
know.
a cool boat. Yeah,
Yeah.
it works well. Now I think I trust the boat now after doing the third leg on it because
Yeah.
at the beginning I was like, oh, I don't know that boat and will it be fine in strong weather and everything? But now I trust the boat and I sort of like it for sure. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be
Yeah.
good to sail.
So what's your sailing background? Give us a bit of a brief on you.
Start sailing when I was young, every summer and in Brittany with family.
Yeah.
And I did all my training on Pendix 6. I was on
Okay.
Pendix 6 for the selection and everything, and I did the 2 first leg on Pendix 6.
Yep,
So
yep,
that's
yeah, I
where
remember that.
that's where I learned proper sailing, like offshore sailing and not
Because
just dinghy sailing. Like I
Marie's
used to.
got a policy of not kicking people off, but
Oh,
letting
yeah.
more and more people experience
Yeah,
the ride.
exactly. Yeah, Mary wants that as much as possible of people would navigate on Pendix 6.
Yeah, yeah.
So she chose to participate everyone for 2 legs.
Yeah.
I had the chance to make first and second leg, but then
Yeah.
I had to get out of Pendix 6, and I was
Yeah.
like, no, I can't quit the race. I need to keep going on. I want to keep going on, and Jean was looking for someone, so we were just say, hey, I'm there. Can I come? And
Yeah.
it worked. So
Yeah.
yeah.
How would
Very
you
lucky.
How would you describe the race to someone that is thinking about doing it?
Crazy adventure because sailing is always crazy, and it's absolutely crazy to sail on the seas everywhere, and it's a very strong human adventure. We met lots of people from all around the world with different background and everything. So it's really good, and there are still things to fix and lots of questions to raise and everything. But it's a really good adventure. So
Yeah.
just
You
come.
think the experience on Penjuic and now here and sailing to the conclusion will change you in any way? Do you think it's that big a deal?
That's a tough question, but I think that sailing and traveling around the world made me think about issues maybe I wouldn't have considered before, and just meeting people with such a different cultural background and that's the incredible part of it because it was good. I know France, not all friends, but it's good. And now I just met people from all around the world, and I can see that we don't have the same point. We don't see things exactly the same, and it's crazy to talk all this about.
Oh, come across. You got to put it in the galley. It's okay. We can move out of the way. We're working with you guys. Okay. It's like a pressure cooker of life. It's all condensed and everything. So last night's party was pretty cool.
Oh, last night party was tough. Tough morning, and now we need to work, but it's gonna be good.
Yeah, cool.
Just enjoying the last moments in Punta.
Yep. Okay. Oh, good. Thanks,
Thanks
buddy.
a lot.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thanks for letting us have a peek, eh?
Sure.
Do you want to get a shot, Tenjin?
Don't put the mic in the pocket.
Oh, it's ruffling, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, oops. Okay. I had the mic in the pocket. Okay. Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
Yep. See you later. Thank you. Yep. No problem. Oh, that might have been a bit of a disaster. I had the other mic in my pocket, and now we're going to try and squeak out of here and get out of their way. But I do like this bloody, this little dog box. It's fantastic. So here we go. So we've seen some of this last minute preparations before Neptune on side. Surprisingly, a lot of people aren't here. they're already loaded and ready to go. So Penduic just had a problem. All the gas filled in their bottles is the wrong gas. So it's a butane mix that the percentages, butane protein mix, and the percentages aren't good enough to burn properly in the stove they've got. So okay, that's it. We'll turn it all down. I'll say goodbye here. Goodbye. Thanks for listening, and we'll go and do another boat later on. See you later.